Okay, hi everyone. Today we're going to be looking at a question on the Companies Act. By now, you guys should have gone through your lecture content and attended your lecture as well. So hopefully you have a bit more in-depth knowledge on the Companies Act. I'm just going to take you through the question, show you guys how to answer more or less where you'll get maximum marks, and basically just your thinking process through the question. So the first thing I want you guys to do whenever you're looking at a governance and control question is read your required. Always read your required first. After you read your required, come back to the scenario, take a highlighter, highlight what all you need from the points. So if we read the required here in this question, it says, in relation to part 1, using an email format for each of the matters indicated in the scenario, you are required to identify the specific issue or issues with each of the matters and provide a detailed reason based on the Companies Act. Please use the following tabular format. Okay, so with regards to the required, firstly, it's telling you what format to use. It's showing you that you get a mark for that specific format. So always just use the format that they want, because a lot of the times in governance and control, you'll get that 1 free mark. So just use it. Another thing is it's telling you that you are required to identify the specific issue or issues. It's telling you that there could be more than one issue, and it's telling you with each of the matters. So in this scenario, it's pointed out. Each matter is pointed out. Sometimes you won't get that. Like it won't show you matter 1, matter 2, matter 3. It will just be one flowing scenario, and you will have to identify the matter and the issue by yourself. But don't panic if you don't see that. It's still the same information. It's still going to be the same. So if we jump straight into the question, we have to identify the issue and the required based on the Companies Act, right? Oh, sorry, a reason based on the Companies Act. So if we start with matter 1, obviously when you are reading the question, you are going to read the entire scenario, but for time purposes, we're just going to jump straight into and go to matter 1. Matter 1 states that Goldo Pty Ltd. Firstly, when you read that, what is Pty Ltd? You automatically have to be thinking private company. That's how you should be picking things up as you're reading. So you can make a little note, private company. And then they say is a gold mining company and currently expanded part of its business and have presented us with the following information in determining whether they need to be audited. The CFO has indicated in the past we never got audited. I believe this will be the same going forward. Then they give you the average number of employees, the loans, the turnover, and the total number of shares. So as you're reading, automatically you should be thinking that what the CFO said, it's in relation to something the CFO said, and it's in relation to being audited. Then they give you the average number of shares, the loans, the turnover, and the total number of shares. When you see that, and when they give you those amounts, your mind should automatically go to the public interest score. When they give you the amounts, it's basically telling you you need to, or you most likely are going to be needing to calculate the public interest score. So what's the issue in this matter? It's that they believe they will not need to be audited going forward. What does the Companies Act say? The first thing you're going to do is calculate the public interest score. When you calculate the public interest score, you're going to see that the public interest score is over 350. And remember when we started off, we identified that it is a private company. What does the Companies Act say about a public interest score and a private company? If your public interest score is over 350 for a private company, you need to be audited. And here the CFO is saying you don't need to be audited. So if we go to the solution for matter 1, see, issue, the company believes that no audit will be required going forward, and the reason is based on public interest score, the company would be required to be audited, and then they calculated the public interest score. If you guys can see, there's 1 mark for each of the amounts used for the public interest score. So you should know how to calculate that. It is in your slides. I am pretty sure it's in your slides. So you should be aware of how to calculate that. And that's basically it for matter one. Your issue is directly from the matter, and your reason is based on the knowledge you have on Companies Act. So it's not so bad. I know Companies Act is a lot, but if you read and you understand and you read with understanding, it's not too bad. Okay, moving on to matter two. It says Frenza Ltd is a company that specializes in manufacturing car parts and was required to call an urgent shareholders meeting. Shareholders meeting. They're telling you shareholders meeting. You should automatically be thinking anything you can about shareholders meetings now. Then it says Mr. Kumalo, a shareholder holding 5% of the shareholding, called this meeting. No issues were noted and the meeting went ahead. What is the problem? For a shareholders meeting to be called, it needs 10% of voting rights. So what's your issue? Again, directly from the matter, Mr. Kumalo, a shareholder who holds 5% of the shareholding, called the meeting. And what is your reason? As per the Companies Act, a meeting can only be requested by holders of at least 10% of voting rights. Okay, moving on to matter three. That one was pretty straightforward. Inzalo Ltd, a company that provides digital marketing services, came into incorporation on the 1st of January 2021. To date, an AGM has not occurred. Shareholders have raised concerns over this. However, the board indicated that there was no issue. So, AGM. What does the Companies Act say of an AGM? Companies Act says that an AGM has to occur within 18 months of a company being incorporated. January 2021 is when they were incorporated. If you go to the top of this email of what the date was, okay, it's not here, but it was 2023 because it was 2024, sorry, because it was last year's paper. So, that would be more than 18 months. If we go to the answer of matter three, no AGM has been held since incorporation, and the reason is, what does the Companies Act say? The Companies Act says that a public company must convene an AGM within 18 months of incorporation. Okay, then if we move on to matter 4, it says Typo Pty Ltd is a company that sells a range of stationery products and has recently been required to implement a decision that was taken via a special resolution. So now you're automatically thinking about special resolutions. What's the point for special resolutions? What's the amount? Or what's the percentage rather? Typo purchased a number of assets in order to expand its business. Shareholders holding 65% of the voting rights voted in favor of this matter. No issues were noted. So remember I said, think of special resolution. If you thought of special resolution, you know that in the Companies Act, special resolution is 75%. Here it says shareholders holding 65% of the voting right voted in this matter. So if we go to matter 4 solution, you'll see the issue is that shareholders holding 65% of the voting rights voted in favor of this matter. And what does the Companies Act say? The Companies Act says a special resolution requires 75% of voting rights to be exercised. Then if we go to question matter 5, it says Zucchini Ltd, a fruit and vegetable company which distributes fruit and vegetables to wholesaler stores. A shareholders meeting was held with the following details. Then they give you the details of the shareholders' names and their voting rights. When you see a table like that, you should be thinking about a shareholders quorum, the meeting quorum. Always remember that. A lot of the times, majority of the times when a Companies Act is tested, shareholders quorums are shareholders meeting quorums are tested. Okay. Then it says Sarah Meyer and Mike Halls was presented at the meeting and the remaining shareholders could not make the meeting for various reasons. The meeting continued and no issues were noted. So if we go to Sarah holds 2% and Mike holds 16%. Yeah, not 16%. So together, the two that were presented hold 18% of voting rights. Like I said, you should be thinking about your shareholders meeting quorum and the requirements for a quorum. So the issue is that only 2 shareholders were presented and the 2 shareholders only hold 18% together, 18% voting rights. Based on the Companies Act, it says that the quorum of a shareholders meeting has not been met. Then you will further go on to stating all the requirements of the quorum. Okay, so you'll see that shareholders meeting may not begin until the quorum is met. You need to have 75% of voting rights in respect of one matter or lower if stated in the MOI. Always write that down. There are at least 3 people present. There's only 2 people present in this case. No matter may be decided upon unless 25% of the voting rights are entitled. Here, only 18% of the voting rights are entitled, and nothing was stipulated or specified in the MOI. Then, moving on to matter 6. It says PTY Ltd, Twinning PTY Ltd, a company that sells office furniture, appointed 4 new directors. The total number of directors are now 9. During the year, the total of 3 meetings were held. That should already be sounding alarming. Then it says at the last meeting, only 1 director called on the meeting. No issues were noted. So now you're thinking directors meeting. Right? If we go to matter 6, it says there are 2 issues. Remember in the required, it says there could be issue or issues. Here there are 2 issues. The first one is that only 3 meetings were held. The Companies Act states that a minimum of 4 meetings need to take place per year. Then the next issue was that only 1 director called upon the meeting. According to the Companies Act, a director may call a board meeting at any time. However, in this case, 2 directors in other cases, which would be applicable to the scenario because there are less than 12 directors. Then if we go on to the last matter, it says that Lazaro Pty Ltd, a farming company focusing on producing maize meal, currently has a public interest score of 120. So now we're going back to the public interest score. Remember that. Then it says that the financial statements are compiled by the financial manager employed by Lazaro. So that should automatically be telling you that the financial statements are internally compiled. We need to make a note of that, or to remember that. It says no issues were noted in the financial statement. No audit was required. So what is the problem here? In this case, we have the company has a public interest score of 120. We know that that's less than 350, but it also states that the financial statements are internally compiled, and then they say no audit was required. If you go to your notes or to your slide, sorry, you will know that for the public interest score, let's go up, I think it's in this one. Yes. Here's it. It says here, in the case of any other type of company, the annual financial statement must be audited if the public interest score is between 100 and 350, and annual financial statements are internally compiled. A lot of people always forget this point because most people just think if the public interest score is equal to or more than 350, it must be audited. But don't forget, if it's internally compiled in between 100 and 350, it must be audited as well. So if we go to matter 7, it says the issue is obviously that no audit is required, and the Companies Act states that annual financial statements must be audited if the public interest score is between 100 and 350, and the annual financial statements are internally compiled. So that is the way you guys should be thinking for Companies Act, or when doing a Companies Act question. And like I said, I do know that Companies Act is a lot, but if you read and you read with understanding, you should be okay. And if you are familiar with your Companies Act, you have to be familiar with your Companies Act, you guys. Otherwise, obviously, you're not going to pick up anything. But if there's any other questions that you guys have, or anyone is confused about anything, please do drop me an email. And yeah, the easiest way to study Companies Act would be to either make like little flashcards or make a mind map, and split the Companies Act into the different sections and then study it from there. So like you can split it into like auditors and audit committee, and then you study in the auditors and audit committee, sorry, the appointments, the rotation, the rights, or like you study board of directors, then you study the meetings, the ineligibility, the removal of board of directors, financial interests of board of directors, conduct, or shareholders. Then you study shareholders meeting, shareholders resolution. You can take it like that in doing a mind map or flashcards. It is the easiest way, or I found it the easiest way to study the Companies Act, because like I said, it is a lot of information, but if you do it right, study your work, and just read with understanding, you will be able to identify the issue and you will be able to relate it to what the Companies Act says. Yeah, like I said, if there's any other questions or anyone is confused or need clarity on anything, please drop me an email. And I hope you guys have a good day further. Thank you.